A Step into the Past Volume 20 Chapter 10. Book 20 Chapter 10 Heartfelt Words. 3 days later, Xiao Pan, Xiang Xiaolong and the rest returned to the capital. The dowager, with Lao Ai, led all the court officials out to welcome them. Looking at their expressions, Zhu Ji's joy is one that comes from the heart, while Lao Ai's smiling face looked quite strained. Lao Ai is not an idiot. In fact, he's a very cunning and despicable man. Naturally, he knows that he's an outcast among the Crown Prince's political group. The day that the Crown Prince gets coronated will be the day the Dowager Zhu Ji loses her governing power, and it will be the time where he will lose all authority. Xiang Xiaolong has once again stabilized Xian Yang. He is the most able leader in the military, helping Xiao Pan strengthen his hold on his throne. Once he gets rid of Pu Hu, what is left is only Lu and Lao's factions. But over the last 10 years, Lu Bue has been concentrating on growing his supporting faction and privately using people for his own ends, so his influence is something that should not be belittled. Xianyang may be the capital city, but it still needs the support of the surrounding counties in many areas. The local militia at the capital reports to the chief commandant. The magistrate only takes care of administrative matters, while the chief commandant is in charge of military affairs. Theoretically, the military should be under the sole control of the ruler, and sometimes the ruler will give orders to mobilize the troops. As for military supplies and conscription, each family will be taxed according to headcount in the family, and all men, once they have reached a certain age, will have to be conscripted into the army for 2 years. 1 year as active servicemen and another year as garrison soldiers to guard the borders, and they are called the standing army. On top of that, there are professional soldiers, who have become the main force of Great Qin. Lu Bue took the opportunity when repairing the Zhenqiu Canal to obtain the authority to mobilize the local standing armies, and this has helped him strengthen his power and control in local areas. This situation where Lu Bue had absolute control was only broken after the birth of the Black Dragon and Xiao Pan's establishment of the 3 Lords and 9 Ministers system. But Lu Bue has already established his own local bases during the early years. So if there is a rebellion, he'll be even more difficult to deal with compared to Cheng Qiao or Lao Ai. So he's not worried about Cheng Qiao succeeding in usurping the throne at all, because by then he can rally his troops using the excuse of crushing the rebel forces. But even in his wildest dreams would he never imagine that he is up against the rarest and ultimate ruler in all of China's history, the most formidable Emperor Qin. After their return to Xianyang, it is customary to pray to the ancestors first, followed by a feast. The next morning, after the court session, Zhu Ji summoned Xiang Xiaolong to Sweet Spring Palace. Xiang Xiaolong had no other choice but to brace himself to see Zhu Ji. This powerful dowager, whose reputation is declining day by day in Qin, received him at the side hall in the inner palace. After she dismissed the maids, Zhu Ji said with a solemn expression, "The Marquis of Changzhen, Lao Ai, said that he was totally not involved at all in this mission to quell the rebels. Even I, as the dowager, was kept in the dark. What is this all about? It made us all worry for nothing." Xiang Xiaolong was secretly thinking to himself, who don't she go and ask her own son instead of interrogating him? But of course he won't say it out loud. Instead he answered respectfully, "The administrative and military matters are kept separate. It's quite normal that the Marquis of Changzhen won't know of this matter." Zhu Ji stared at him, displeased. "Then why is the chief commandant not aware of this as well? Han Xie didn't even know you've gone out of the city into battle, and so he was unable to coordinate with you at all." After Guan Zongzi left for the military expedition, Han Xie was promoted as the commander with Su Shang as his deputy. Xiang Xiaolong replied calmly, "We could emerge victorious this time because of the 4 words AA take them by surprise, and in order to become legendary troops, we must have various tricks to confuse the enemy and let the enemy obtain wrong information. As our enemy has a lot of ears and eyes in the capital, we have to use extreme methods, and I hope your majesty will understand." Zhu Ji was quiet for a moment before saying with a sad sigh, "Please don't use such pretentious words on me. Zheng'er, and you can hide it from everyone else, but how can you lie to me? If both of you did not want the Marquis of Changzhen to find out, I will not tell him. Xiang Xiaolong did not expect Zhu Ji to suddenly talk to him with such a tone of voice and attitude, and the old feelings he kept hidden deeply welled up as he sighed and said, "The crown princess growing day by day, he's no longer the child of the past. Now he is most concerned about how to govern the country well and unify the world. Any obstacle on this path of his will be cleared by him sooner or later. This is the road that all rulers must go through as they mature, and this is something very clearly stated in history." Zhu Ji's pretty face suddenly paled as she asked in alarm, "Xiaolong, what do you mean by those words? Is Zheng Er going to deal with me?" Xiang Xiaolong knows that she is having a guilty conscience because she has bore 2 bastards for Lao Ai, and answered with a wry smile, "Of course His Highness won't be so unfilial towards your Majesty, but to other people, there's no need for him to be filial at all. Regardless of foster father or fake father, they're all the same." Zhu Ji looked at him at a loss, and lowered her head to ask, "Tell Zhu Ji, will Xiang Xiaolong deal with her?" A surge of feelings welled in Xiang Xiaolong as he said with certainty, "Even as someone puts a sword at my neck, I will never harm the dowager." Zhu Ji asked quietly, "What about the Marquis of Changzhen?" Xiang Xiaolong was taken aback for a moment before he answered in a tone that even he himself found to be sarcastic, "If he is loyal towards the dowager and the crown prince, I can guarantee that nothing will happen to him. Of course fate would not end up like that. The rebellion of Lao Ai is the last internal struggle just before Emperor Qin's coronation, and Liu Bue will be implicated because of this and return to the north defeated. Suddenly, he knows that he has become an important person who can affect the political scene in the Qin Empire. That's why Zhu Ji had to lower herself to ask this question and to seek his opinion. And he has become the only person that Xiao Pan will totally trust." Even when he released Han Chuang, Xiao Pan did not take it to heart. If it was someone else, he would have ended up being removed from his post or dragged out to be executed. Zhu Ji's body trembled slightly as she raised her head, seemingly going to speak but stopping herself. Xiang Xiaolong said gently, "Is there anything else that your Majesty wants to ask me?" Zhu Ji exclaimed piteously, "Tell me, what I should do." Xiang Xiaolong understood the meaning behind those words, which is to say that she has lost control over Lao Ai and is not feeling guilt-ridden. After all, Xiao Pan is her AA son, and although their relationship has been deteriorating, she has not come to the extent whereby she will deliberately harm her son with her lover. And all Lao Ai wants is to retain his power. But anyone would know this is impossible. When Xiao Pan holds absolute power, Lao Ai's only outcome is to fade out. Xiang Xiaolong was silent for a while, knowing that if he does not take this opportunity to speak his mind, he'll never have the chance in future. As to whether Zhu Ji is willing to listen to his advice, that's her problem. He stood up and moved to the front of Zhu Ji's table and knelt down on one knee, looking at her well-maintained, dewy and beautiful face, saying frankly, "If your Majesty is willing to listen to my advice, return power to His Highness earlier and bring the Minister of Ceremony with you to live in Yangdu for good. That way, the conflict between your Majesty and His Highness will be dissolved." Zhu Ji's delicate body trembled again as she cried out softly, "Xiaolong, I." Footsteps were heard from behind. The both of them turned around to look in surprise, only to see Lao Ai barging in, his eyes fury with jealousy as he stared angrily at both of them. Xiang Xiaolong secretly sighed. Fate makes fun of men. In the end, there's still nothing he can do to change the situation. When he returned to the Wu residence, the angry and venomous look in Lao Ai's eyes still haunts his mind. Rome was not built in a day. So Lao Ai's jealousy towards him is not something that just started today. He's the kind of person who thinks that all the women in the world should rightfully fall in love with him, someone who only takes but never gives. Compared to him, Liu Bue's tactics are indeed a lot more brilliant. On a certain level, Xiao Pan can still reluctantly accept Liu Bue as a foster father, but he will never acknowledge Lao Ai as his fake father. Just based on this point alone, Lao Ai has already planted the seed of his own demise. History has long proven that all those rulers who founded a dynasty are definitely vicious and without mercy. Xiao Pan, the emperor of Qin, is the best of them all. When he killed Zhao Mu with his own hands, his eyes were shining brightly as he reported to Xiang Xiaolong. At that time, he could already identify Xiao Pan's bravery, and he was just a 15-year-old boy then. This time, he set up a trap to kill Cheng Qiao and Du Bai, and at the same time ordered his men to get rid of Pu Hu. From this, his attention to details and his merciless nature can be seen. Of course, this is also due to his background and the incidents that had befallen him. Just as his mind was wandering with all these information, he had already arrived at the Wu family's gates with his bodyguards. A horse carriage was parked at the square, and a few of Qin Shing's family warriors were idly chatting with the Wu family's guards. When they saw him coming, they paid their respects. Xiang Xiaolong was ecstatic as he jumped down his horse and shouted, "Is Grand Tutor Qin back?" One of them replied, "She just arrived this morning." A fiery ball of love welled in Xiang Xiaolong's heart as he ran into the house. When he got to the grand hall, the beauty that he has been thinking of day and night, dressed in a simple gown, was chatting happily with Ji Yanran and the other ladies, including Shan Lan, Zhou Wei, and the children. On seeing Xiang Xiaolong, Qin Shing's pretty eyes brightened immediately with an indescribable fire as her delicate body trembled lightly, but her expression remained calm. Obviously she was trying to control herself. Wu Tingfang said with a laugh, "Sister Qing pines for one of us, so she came back earlier." Qin Shing's pretty face blushed immediately as she gave Wu Tingfang an angry stare, her expression extremely alluring. Xiang Xiaolong suppressed his urge to gather her into his arms as he came between her and Zhao Ji and said with a laugh, "Grand Tutor Qin has lost weight, but looks even more alluring now." Qin Shing replied happily, "Qin Shing may not be in Xianyang, but great general's reputation still rings loudly like thunder. What luck that my return this time coincides with great general's victorious homecoming as well." Shan Lan said with a laugh, "Both of you can stop pretending. It's all our own people here, must you behave so politely towards each other?" Ji Yanran helped Qin Shing out of the situation by changing the topic and telling Xiang Xiaolong, "Sister Qing said that Lu Bue went to her hometown. He was trying his utmost to get into the good books of the major local clans. What is most shameless is that the suggestion to reduce taxes came from Li Si, but he boasted that it was his idea." Zhou Wei added, "What's even more irritating is that he came on many occasions to bother Sister Qing, and Sister Qing was so alarmed that she had to move somewhere else to stay." Xiang Xiaolong said with a smile, "Because he made a wrong calculation, thinking that Cheng Qiao would be able to get rid of us, so there's no more need for him to control himself." He went nearer to Qin Shing and said, "We'll return to the farm tomorrow. Is Grand Tutor Qin willing to dawdle around like this for the rest of your life?" Qin Shing blushed right to her ears and pouted, "Your official posts are getting bigger and bigger, but you're getting naughtier. I'm not talking to you, I still have to go and see the Dowager and the Crown Prince." Xiang Xiaolong grabbed her small shoulders without any hesitation and whispered in her ears, "I don't care where Grand Tutor Qin is going now, but Grand Tutor must come back here tonight to spend the night." Wu Tingfang was listening intently to their conversation, and on hearing his words, said with a smile, "Sister Qing has already agreed, but she's going to chat with us sisters through the night instead." He, sorry about that, great general." Xiang Xiaolong nodded his head, "That's even more ideal." The ladies all reprimanded him with a laugh. By this time, Xiang Xiaolong has cast all thoughts of Zhu Ji, Lao Ai, and all the fights with his enemies behind him. At this moment, life is good. His mind flew to the thoughts of the open plains, and he remembered the wide open grassland that he once went to in the 21st century while undergoing training. Blue skies, white clouds, green grass as lush as carpets spans the entire horizon, the lakes look like clear mirrors adorning the landscape, with the rivers interjecting one another, with the smell of clean grass filled the air. If he can spend the rest of this weird and wonderful life in peace with his wives and beloved children in this farm surrounded by nature, with no need to bother about mundane fights for power and war, how wonderful would life be? The next day, he returned to the farm with his own and Teng Yi's families, and of course Qin Shing was with them. The both of them were pining for each other after being separated for so long, and now is no longer bothered about how others sees them. 10 days later, Wang Ling and Huan Qi gathered an army of 100,000 men to attack Tunliu and Pu Hu, under the pretext of avenging Chang Qiao abandoned Qin and allied with Zhao. Wang Bai and Yang Duanhe were beaten back by Li Mu on numerous occasions, and they changed their tactics to be on the defensive and managed to stabilize the various eastern commanderies, and their situation was extremely dangerous. At the same time, King Heng Hui of Han died of illness and the crown prince ascended the throne. Han Chuang has always been on good terms with the crown prince, so he now became the premier, becoming the most influential man in Han. Lord Longjiang's power in Wei greatly increased as well, and the two states relied on each other, working hand in hand to repel Qin, suppressing the eastern advancement of the two armies led by Guan Zongzi and the Meng brothers. On the other hand, Xiang Xiaolong and Teng Yi are leading carefree lives at the farm. There's still about 2 more years to go before Xiao Pan's coronation. But during this period of time, which is not so far away in the future, no one can guess what changes will happen in the meantime. On this day, Lord Wenchang and Li Si came together to the farm to visit them. Naturally, all of them were happy to see one another again. Xiang Xiaolong and Teng Yi led the both of them on a leisurely horse ride at dusk when Lord Wenchang commented, "Lu Bue just came back, his relationship with Lao Ai is noticeably better, and they will occasionally go and have drinks together at Drunken Wind Loft. He even let Lao Ai have Bai Yaya." Li Si said icily, "In my opinion he's trying to repeat the devious trick he used on Chang Qiao, which is to incite Lao Ai to rebel. Maybe he even hinted openly that he will support the bastard son he had with the dowager to ascend the throne, then get rid of Lao Ai after that and make himself king. As Lu Bue is still very powerful on the ground, it's possible that this is something he can accomplish." Lord Chongping added, "But there's one thing which is quite strange." After Xiaolong left, the dowager went to speak with the crown prince and offered to hand over part of her authority, and after that will live in seclusion in Yangdu. Lao Ai is now making frequent trips between Yangdu and Xianyang, but some important decisions or deployment of people still needs the dowager's agreement before it can proceed. Xiang Xiaolong was secretly relieved that at least Zhu Ji is willing to listen to his advice, resulting in improved relations between her and Xiao Pan. Teng Yi asked, "Is there any news from Mao Jiao's side?" Lord Chongping replied with a cold snort. He said Lao Ai is at Yangdu cultivating talents. "There's something that all of you are unaware, Ling Qi has become Yangdu's castellan. The Grand Temple is situated at Yangdu, so it's under Lao Ai's jurisdiction. It can be effectively considered that Yangdu is now under his control." Xiang Xiaolong already knew long ago that Lao Ai will certainly try to gather resources first, otherwise he won't be able to start a rebellion. Teng Yi asked about Wang Ling and Huan Qi battle situation. Li Si replied with a sigh, "His Highness is still worried. Pu Hu has retreated back to Tunliu and is staying behind the walls, refusing to come out. There's nothing great General Wang can do to him for now. What's most worrying is that winter is fast approaching, and it's a time that will benefit the defenders and not the besiegers. Besides, there's also the existence of Li Mu, he's an uncertain factor." Lord Chongping sighed, "I don't know if it's intentional on Lu Bue's part, using the excuse that the building of the Zhenqiu Canal will be completed soon, and he redeployed a large number of men locally to build the canal, with the result that we now don't have many soldiers to deploy. We were just vexing over this matter." Xiang Xiaolong can't help but feel a sense of guilt. If he had agreed to Xiao Pan's request to lead the army against Tunliu that day, Wang Ling won't have to make such a torturous journey in his old age. A pity that this has already become an unalterable fact. A feeling of misfortune welled up in his heart.